Hey guys, sKuL Queso here, and this is episode 1 of Learn How to Edit. And today I'm going to be working with you guys on this triple collat that I just hit not too long ago in Modern Warfare 3. It's actually pretty dang sick. Can't believe I hit a triple collat already. But the feed got split, which kind of sucks, but whatever. So that's what we're going to be working with. So first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to look in the description of this video, and you can go ahead and download this clip along with everything else you'll need to edit it. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up the folder and drag the clip into Vegas. Okay, now I'm going to find a song to use. Okay, we're going to use this song, Incomparable by Dead April. So you can just go ahead and drag the audio file. I'm going to drag it off of iTunes, but you just drag it from the folder. I'm going to drag it into Vegas. There you have it. And then, okay, now the first thing you want to do before we even look at the song is we're going to want to go up here to our clip and then find where I get the actual kill. Or actually scope in and get the kills. Zoom in. I'm just scrolling over with the arrow keys. You can just scroll along the timeline frame by frame. And right here is where I want to sync it, because this is right when I scope in and I actually take the shot. So I'm going to go ahead and press S on the keyboard to split the clip at that point. There we go. S. Okay, so now I'm going to listen to the song. I'm going to find the part that we want to sync it to. Okay, that's a good part right there, just the intro right there. We're just going to sync the shot to, scrolling in here, to this part right here. It's kind of laggy, but okay, so there's the drum roll, and then this is when the rest of the band comes in right here. So we're going to want to sync it to that. So now you have it synced to the beat. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move over into After Effects now. So we're going to go ahead and drag the triple collat into here. Just drag it onto here into the project part. Then you want to bring this down here and drop it into your timeline. And then you can go ahead and click right here and then scroll along until you find where you're scoping in. And in this part, we're going to want a Twixtor. Hold on. The first thing that we want to do before we Twixtor it is see how there's some black lines around the edge. We want to get rid of that. We want to just drag this out some. Scroll out. You can also go over here, drop this down and go to fit, and that'll give you a nice fit picture. It'll fit the screen perfectly. Okay, so now that we've done that, I'm going to go ahead and add some Twixtor in. And I know that most of you guys might not have Twixtor, and in the folder that I gave you guys, I gave you instructions on how to get After Effects, Sony Vegas, and Twixtor and stuff, so you can go ahead and look in there and to get it. So you want to make sure your clip is selected. You go up to Effect, down this, RE Vision Plugins, Twixtor Pro. The first thing you want to do is change this input frame rate to 59.94. Just click away. Okay, and then right here is where we're going to manage our speed for the clip. And we're going to manage that from the timeline. So we're going to drop this arrow down, drop down Effects, and drop down Twixtor Pro. And then you're going to want to drop down Output Control. And that seems like a lot and really confusing, but you'll get used to it after a while. After a while of using Twixtor, just kind of memorize it. Okay, so now we're going to get about right there when you scope in. Just say right there. This is where we want to make it slow. So we're gonna want to go back a frame or two. This is how this stopwatch right here allows you to keyframe. So you want to click this, and this will make a keyframe for 100 speed right there. And then you want to go to next frame, just a couple frames ahead. Then we're going to turn this down to, let's say, 5 speed. So now you see it's regular speed, and then it's just slow. And then we want to know how long we want the slow-mo to be. So we're going to go back into Vegas. And you can see right here, I want it to slow-mo for this drum roll right here. So it starts, let's say, like a little after 1 second, and it goes up until like after 2 seconds. So we want it about 1 second. So 1 second of slow-mo, so we have to know that. So this starts right here, so we're going to want it to end right about like here. So I'm going to go ahead and click this diamond right here to create another keyframe of 5 speed. Then we're going to go a few frames ahead and change this back to 100. And then we're just going to highlight over this. Or no, hold on. I'm going to highlight over these two and then bring these, or highlight all of them and then drag them all forward. So then it's about where I take the shot that you want it to be done with Twixtor. So right there. So it's going to be slow, and then bam, bam, I go for the shot. Okay. Whoops, I actually Twixtored the wrong shot. Okay, that's the miss. So I'm going to go ahead and just drag this over here. Zoom in here. Okay, so Twixtor, then I hit the shot. Then I'm going to Twixtor after I hit the shot. So we're going to need to keyframe again. I'm going to Twixtor it right here, so I can get a good view of all the kills in the kill feed. Go a little. Okay, there we go. That's good. A little back one. So I'm going to set another keyframe for 100 speed. I'm going to go up a frame and then change it to, let's say, 2. We'll change it to 2. Okay, so now it's Twixtor. I take the shot, and then it goes to 2 speed. And there you have your Twixtor. So now we're going to want to add in, let's add in another effect. Let's see here. What can we add in? Something easy. Let's add in CC lens. So go to effect, distort, and then CC lens right here. This is a common effect used. Probably seen this a lot. Okay, so now we're going to want to, hold on, just set the size to 500 so you can see it. Okay, so now when I take the shot is when I want the effect to happen. So right there. Okay, I'm going to keyframe the size at 500 right there, right before I actually see the people to shoot. And then right here, I'm going to drop the size back down to 0. And then I'm going to go ahead a little bit. Go ahead about there. I'm going to bring the size back up to, let's say, around 200. So then you can kind of see that I got a triple already right there. And then I'm going to go ahead a little bit. And then I'm going to bring this even more up to about 400 or so. So I have Twixtor when I scope in. And then I scope in, shoot, and then there's CC lens effect. And then the lens goes out, so you can see that I got a triple there. So it looks all good for there. So that's pretty much all I want from After Effects. So now I'm going to render out the portion that I want. So you drag these to tell it what portion you want to render out. I'm going to go ahead and render out from the beginning all the way up until when the lens actually finishes. Or I'll go a little bit afterwards. We'll go to about 10 seconds. That sounds good. So from 0 to 10 seconds, I'm going to go to Composition, Add to Render Queue. I have a preset here, H.264, no audio. I'll show you what my preset is for rendering. So you want to go to Composition, Add to Render Queue, and then it will come down here. You want to hit this arrow, or you want to click right here, and you want to make sure that your format is H.264. Just copy all of this. And make sure that your audio output is unchecked because you don't really care for the audio right now. You only want the video. You're going to put in the audio in Vegas. And then you can go ahead and go to Format Options. And set your target bitrate and your maximum bitrate to 14. That's pretty important. And then make sure your profile and your level are what I have. And make sure this is your multiplexer. You go ahead and press OK. And that's what I have. Just copy that. No audio. Okay, now you can, this is where you want to save it to, output to. I'm going to click on this. Let's go ahead and save it to our folder on our desktop. Mine is Learn to Add to Episode 1. So I'm going to name this Triple Collat Twixter. And then just go ahead and press save. And then you can click render. And it'll render out the region that you chose to render out. Go ahead and wait for this to finish. Okay, and now that that's done rendering, we're going to go ahead and go to my desktop, open up a folder, and then drag in Triple Collat Twixter to Vegas. Just drop it in here. Check to make sure I'm still recording. Okay. Okay, now that you've dropped it in here, you're going to want to bring it over to the... you're going to want to go to... I'm just going to go ahead and delete this whole thing because we're just going to use the Twixter clip. So I'm just going to delete this. So I'm going to hold Shift and select both of them and then press delete. And then once you have that, just bring this over here. I'm going to delete this track, pressing delete on the keyboard. Okay. So now I'm going to drag this. We don't need all that. Okay, so this is where in the song. So this is the part where we want it to sync to. So I'm going to go ahead and press M on the keyboard to mark that spot as the part where I want to sync the shot to. So I'm going to go ahead and line it up. So right there is when the lens comes in, the CC lens. So that looks like a good spot. Okay, so now we have that. I'm going to go ahead and let's start from the beginning here. Look at what we have. Okay, I don't want to have this part where I'm missing, so I'm just going to go ahead and come right here and go up to the marker. I want to press S on my keyboard to split the clip. And I'm going to click on the end of it and then hold Control and drag it back to lengthen the clip. So then this gives me only this portion, but it'll be longer, so I don't see like where I missed and stuff, so it looks a lot cleaner. I'm just going to give it a basic fade to start off with. Okay, now that we have that, first thing you notice in the song is the drum roll in the beginning, and drum rolls are perfect for syncing with flashes and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and sync a flash in there. So I'm going to go over to my video effects, brightness and contrast, and then drag in reset to none in here. And then you can see how and then you want to have this selected, sync cursor. it'll sync this right here to your timeline, and that's important for syncing. So you want to scroll in here too. Okay, so right here is where our first drum beat is, so we're going to add a flash in there. I have a preset. This is one of my favorite presets. I'd copy that down if I were you, because that's like a perfect flash, I think. It has the right amount of contrast and the right amount of brightness, so it looks very clean and it blends in very well, I think so. So I'm going to go ahead and go frame back. I'm going to set it to reset to none. So now in the first drum roll, the flash comes in. Oh yeah, and by the way, you can save presets by setting this first of all, and then you can just go up here and type in whatever you want, and then you can press save preset right here, and then it'll have it in this drop down. But I already have it, so okay. So now we're gonna scroll over until right before the next drum beat. You can see right here. So I'm gonna set another reset to none right there. Whoops. Another reset to none. So now it's just going to have the drum beat right there. And then once it gets to the next drum beat, it will be at 0 flash. So now I'm going to add in another one right after it's finished. Now I'm just going to go ahead and do that for all of the following drum beats. So, and what you can do to make this easier is you can go right here and click on this. You can just click on the timeline in here. You can just highlight both these and then press Control-C. And then you can drag this over to your next drum beat, which is right here, it looks like. And then press Control-V. Drag it over. Control-V. Control-V. And just do that for all of these. And then make sure you set a reset to none at the end so it fades out of the flash at the very end. Okay, so now you can go ahead and take a look at this, and it should be, I'm going to pre-render it. And if it's laggy for you when you preview it, a good way to fix this is to click up here and then highlight a loop region of what you want to see. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight this portion where I have the drum roll and then the shot. And then you can go ahead and press Shift B on your keyboard. Just hit it, and then it'll go ahead and pre-render a portion of it for you to see. So that looks good so far. I'll go ahead and view when it actually shoots. Okay, that looks good so far. But I want something more when he shoots. So I'm going to go ahead and go up to here, go to Event Pan Crop. And then for when he shoots, I want it to zoom in. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom this in some. And then rotate it to the side. Let's rotate it to the left. And then this, whichever direction you rotate it in here, it'll do the opposite over here for some reason. I don't know why, but you just pay attention to that. So I'm going to go ahead and put that out here. So it's going to be reset to none. And then it's going to zoom in. Then I want it to slowly zoom out towards the end of the clip. So I'm going to go ahead and set this back to the default. So then you'll have it zoom in, and then it'll zoom back out. And then something that makes it look even better is you want to click on the last keyframe that you have, and then hold Shift and click on the first one. And then you can right-click on just the timeline, and then go to Smooth. And then this will just make it a lot smoother. It'll change your keyframes, make them a lot smoother in between. So then, yeah, and then now we need a gunshot. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and go into the folder and get a gunshot. I have mine in here. Or through sound packs, primaries. Sniper rifles, and then it's MSR. So I'm going to go ahead and drag the sound clip into Vegas and then put it on the timeline. So and here it is. Just want to make sure you line that up with the marker, which is where you shoot at. So then you can pre-render this. Okay, hold on. Pre-render this portion. Okay, the gun sound is really quiet compared to the music audio, so I'm going to go ahead and bump the gun sound up a little bit. You can just crank this up. I'll go about there. See how that sounds? Okay, that sounds pretty good. I think I'm going to go ahead and add a flash in here. You can just do that by dragging this down. I'm going to put it on top. So right here, there's going to be a flash, and then I'm going to bring it down to reset to none at the end. So it's just going to be a flash for when I shoot. Another cool effect, I think, is Gaussian blur. I'm going to go ahead and add that in for this too. Go ahead and set this. That's a bit much. Drag this over here so I can see how much I'm actually blurring it. I'll bring this down. Let's see, about 0.03 maybe. Yeah, that looks good. I'll bring that down. 0.03, and then I'm going to go about here, and I'm going to bring it down to 0.01. Let's see how that looks. 0.01. That looks pretty good, and I'm going to have it go back to reset to none right here. So then it quickly goes back to 0.01, and then it slowly fades out from there. I do that just to make it more dynamic, and it's not just straight linear, just boring. I don't know. It just makes it more dynamic, I feel like. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And then another cool thing that I like to do is like to add in like an explosion sort of sound effect for certain shots to add it, to give it more emphasis on that shot, and I think it makes it sound a lot cooler. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my sound effects. I'll put all the sound effects that I'm adding in, I'll put in the folder so you guys don't have to search for them or anything. They're just going to be in the folder, so you just look there. So I'm going to add in this bass drop. Let's go ahead and put this in there. So I'm going to go to this, cut off the beginning because it's kind of quiet there. And I'm just going to have it go for a while, and I'm just going to have it fade out. Let's see how loud this is. Okay, that's a little loud. I'm going to bring that down to about there. Should be good. So now that we have that, we have nice full in the beginning. Okay, I'm going to have it zoom out in the beginning just to give it a little bit more in the beginning, because I don't want it to be just straight up flash, because that can be a little bit boring. So I'm going to zoom in some, tilt it a little bit, and then go to reset to none, or default right here. So hold on, I forgot to add in smooth. Go ahead and smooth this. Okay, so I'm going to make these smooth, and then okay, so adding in that thing in the beginning just makes it, gives it a lot more movement, and it's not as plain and dull. I think it just adds a lot more to your montage if you just actually take the time to add in small things like that to just keep the movement going throughout the whole montage or edit or whatever you're doing. Okay, so that looks good so far. Looking through it right now. Okay, well, we need to have a transition out of it. I guess I'll just put a regular old fade because it is only one clip, so you don't really need to do anything too fancy in between. Oh yeah, and you can go ahead and drag this song down. Drag it down. And have it fade out at the end. So this is looking pretty good so far. Let me view it again. Okay, that's looking pretty good so far. Thinking of anything else to put in. Okay, Another cool effect you can do is let's add in a video track, and then we're gonna go over to here. We're gonna go to media generators, solid color, and then we're gonna put in white. Just drag this over. Okay, so now what you're going to want to do for the white, you're going to want to change this to multiply mask, and then you're going to want to, let's just make sure we're on something visible. You're going to want to go to event pan crop on the white portion, on the white thing. You're going to want to uncheck this, and then drag this down some. And this gives it a nice widescreen effect. I want to make sure you delete the first keyframe so it stays widescreen the whole time. Okay, and then you can choose how much widescreen you want, and right there looks about good. I don't want it to have too much. I don't want it to cover up too much, just a little something. So I think that adds a nice little effect to it. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and render this out. We want to choose our loop region. We want to make sure that it covers from the beginning of what we want to the end over here, right where it fades out. Okay, now the next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to select both of these. I'm going to hold down Control and select both of these. Right click, go to switches, and then disable resample. This is important. It'll make your quality a lot nicer. Just want to make sure you do that before you render it. You go up here to render as, and you go to render loop region only. Go to your folder on your desktop, learn to edit episode 1. And I'm going to go ahead and save this as edit rendered 1. Just going to put a 1 because I'm going to have to render it out again. Okay, so now you have the loop region selected, and then I'm just going to render it MP4 YouTube 720p. I'll show you my settings. You can just go ahead and copy these down, pause the video if you need to. That's what I have for video, that's what I have for audio, and this is my project. Just put it at best. I have another video for render settings if you want to check that out. You can look back. Okay, so now we're going to render this out in here. Just press save, and then just wait for this to finish. Okay, so now once this is done rendering, we can go over here, we can go back to our folder, and then we have it rendered out in here. Well, I'm just going to clear this clip out of After Effects real fast. Just press delete. Go on this, delete. We don't need that anymore. It's rendered out. We've already looked at it. Looks all good, so we can go ahead and get rid of it safely without worrying about having to go back after it. Just drag this in again. Drag it into your project. Bring this down, look over it, and there you have the full rendered thing. And then the reason I brought it back into After Effects is so we can put in color correction. So I'm going to go ahead and get a nice spot where we can see. So this looks nice, no blur or anything. Just want to make sure you don't have any effects going. Like if you have it right here, then your brightness is going to appear a lot brighter than what it's supposed to be. So I'm just gonna go right here where there's no blurriness, no brightness. We can tell what's going on. So we go to Effect, Looks, Magic Bullet Looks. In the instructions in the folder that's in the description that you downloaded, I gave you instructions on how to get both Twixtor, optical flares, Twixtor, and then all the Magic Bullet stuff, Magic Bullet Looks. That's what we're going to want to use. So we go ahead and click Looks, and then go to Edit, and then we'll load this in here. And you can go over here, and then it should give you some default ones. I do have some in here, some pretty nice ones. But we're going to go ahead and make our own. Delete these. Okay, so let's go ahead and you can scroll over here and you can see some stuff. First thing, let's add in some. Let's add in a vignette. This is really nice. Love vignettes. I next to never don't use a vignette. I always use a vignette because it looks, I don't know, I love them. Nothing much else to say. They're just amazing. Okay, so vignette's good. I might turn up the strength so you can actually see it. A little bit less. Okay. This is the fun part, I think. The funnest part to do. Let's give it some native bleach bypass. Let's turn up the exposure compensation. Okay, that looks good. What else can we do? Let's go ahead and give it gradient exposure. Just double click on it to add it in. Then you're just going to turn up the stops. This will lighten up whatever portion you choose. It'll give a gradient to lighten it up. So that looks good. I just want it to be more dynamic. Have it some light up here, and then you got the vignette going down here still. Gives it a really nice smooth looking effect. And then another good thing, let's add in some, where is it? Crush. And then we can go ahead and choose like the tint that we want. It's basically like if we wanted green tint or blue tint for our overall color scheme. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it more on the blue side. So I'm going to give it like that. I don't want to give it too much. I just want a little effect. Then that looks pretty good. You can go ahead and press finished when you're done. Or if you want to save this as a preset, you can go down here, then change the look name. Just double click down here. Then you can go ahead and type in whatever you want and then press enter. But I don't want to do that. Because I like making my own every time just to make it different. Yeah, so I'm going to press finished. And there you go. You have a nice, sick looking color correction in here. And you have your fully edited clip already. And there you go. It looks really nice. So I'm just going to go ahead and render this out. So I'm going to go to composition, add to render queue. And then H.264 audio. This is the same settings as last time, but I have the audio output checked this time. And I'll tell you how to save these as a preset. Hold on. You want to go down here, and then you can go ahead and make a template by clicking on here, but I'm not going to make one. So you just want to make a template with the settings that I have. You can go back and look at what I have. I'll show you right now my audio. You just want to make sure you have the audio output checked. You want to make sure you have all this stuff. Color management, this. Format options, this 1414 5.1 main. Have your audio set to this. Multiplexer, this. And then you can go ahead and save that as a template if you want for later. And then you just go ahead and press OK. That's good. I'm going to go ahead and click here and choose to save it here again. I'm going to do edit rendered to. And then press save and then go ahead and render it out. Okay, so then once you have it rendered out, you should be able to go over here, open it up, and it should be in this folder. You can go ahead and view it over. And that looks pretty sick. So there you go. You have your full edited clip. And I'd love to see how this worked out for you guys. So if you could post what you rendered out at the end, your final product, as a video response to this video, that'd be awesome. I'd love to check it out. I'll look at all of them. So you can go ahead and do that. And if you have any problems, any trouble just editing at all, any questions at all, just go ahead and contact me. You can leave a comment. You can send me a private message, whatever. And yeah, so I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching this episode of Learn How to Edit. And hope you guys had a good time, learned a lot. I'll see you later.